Welcome to FaceHammer episode 98. It's me, Russ the Face. I'm joined by Les and Tom from Realm Rift of Battle Roll fame.
The artist formerly known as Chewy.
He has many different
currently
faces.
known. Yeah.
So thanks for coming on, Chewy. Do you want to just say hello and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Chewy. Sometimes Tom, sometimes Battle Roll, sometimes person from Realm Rift. Yeah.
Collector of many armies. Like if there's an army in Sigmar, Chewy's got it. Like at some point,
Pretty much. I think I've got most of them at the moment as well. I sort of just spent last year collecting. That was my hobby, collecting stuff.
Purchasing.
Yeah.
Purchasing.
Is it all painted?
That's keeping the economy alive.
Exactly. Helping the GW share price.
Yeah.
So Realm Rift is a podcast. Do you want to just tell a little bit about what Realm Rift is or how people can find out about it? I'm putting you on the spot massively, aren't I?
Yeah. It's like, look at it. It's like, look at the cogs turning. Oh.
So yeah, it's a podcast. It's me, Gary Hennessy, and Andy Talbot.
Who's Andy Talbot?
It's he's still around. He's still around.
In joke. Sorry, in joke. Yep.
But we talk about kind of all things tabletop Warhammer-y stuff. Sometimes non-Warhammer related things, and lots of hobby stuff, and both AOS, 40k, kind of anything that we're kind of
because
doing at the time.
The Realm Rift's like the play on words, isn't it? So like the mortal realms, and then the rift that is the 40k thing that I don't know about. But like mortal realms and then the 40k rifty bit. But yeah, so I think it's formerly the Age of Sigmar for those that are old school, which was another podcast, which was
we did some
Sigmar focus.
The Triumvirate, which was a 40k focus one, and we thought it was getting to a point where we weren't doing anything like consistently enough for it to be, for us to kind of manage both things. So we thought we'd just put it into one thing and go from there. We've got a website as well, realmrift.com, where you can go and check out our shows and check out hobby and stuff. There's not a great deal on there at the moment. We've been slowly getting going with that, I suppose.
No, but you've had a new arrival, haven't you? So doing stuff like this takes more time. So So I think it's really, really cool. Obviously, we're into 2021, and in the UK at least, obviously we're still going through this whole COVID saga that is affecting everything. And some of the things that we've been talking, because we talk quite a lot like off air, like as we're mates and stuff, and we were discussing about like motivation and painting and like where the motivation for painting comes from. Is it like gaming or stuff like that, and how people are different? And you were quite keen to do something, weren't you, Chewy, that would help people focus their energy and have some goals. So we were talking about a kind of like a Warhammer achievement style thing. So today we're going to talk about the RealmHammer Paint Battle, which is kind of spawned from back at Blood and Glory. There's an event that's like a side event run called Warhammer Achievements by Steve Wren, which is kind of based around like the Xbox achievements. So you do a tournament and you've got these things you have to achieve. It's not really about winning the games. It's about doing these little side things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me last year was very much, I think the term I used most to discuss any kind of hobby was flip-flopping. Yeah. And I sort of jumped around from different things, and it meant that I never really kind of finished anything, because I tend to paint a lot for like events and that kind of thing, and even some like painting specific events as opposed to like gaming tournaments and stuff. And without those sort of deadlines, it felt that I'd get really excited about a project for a few days, and then I didn't have that kind of pressure or kind of motivation to keep going with it. So it kind of fizzled out very quickly. And I wanted to have a set of challenges that meant that I could do, that I could keep that focus and think, well, actually, it's fine if I just want to paint this little thing or this unit from this army or whatever, because I can now, that's my little challenge that I've set for myself or something. And then from there, we kind of got into the point where we want to share that with everyone. I want to make sure that, other people can, because a lot of people I talk to in the hobby and stuff seem to have the same kind of feelings about how 2020 went. They started projects, they got really excited about projects, but nobody had that kind of consistent motivation, really.
It's the deadline, right?
Yeah, and
like
I think,
like you said, you've got like these goals you need to hit. I know me and Russ have spoke about it quite a lot before, and like Russ is very much his hobby is, I'm going to this tournament. This is a list that I want to try. What do I need to do to get this army finished for this tournament? And in the absence of tournament games that we've all got, having like these achievements that you've set yourself, like that you almost like hold yourself accountable towards then, and you go, right, well, I can get this done, I can get that done, and yeah, I do. Obviously, sorry to jump across you there, but like I just think that it's a really good. I think to help bring the community together and motivate them, to sort of like achieve these things, and get an army painted, get stuff painted, and
I think that's part of, by having like the community doing it together as well. It's like it's easy enough for you to set your own targets and then not follow them. Whereas kind of this way, it's like I'm setting, I'm going to try and do this particular challenge. And I know that there's a bunch of other people who are also trying to do this particular challenge, so we can kind of motivate each other along with it. And, and that kind of thing in terms of like community, getting the community to do it together. And I think the thing that how we kind of sidelined into the achievement side of it was that we then thought, like, it's easier to do like, right, we're going to do like a specific paint a single miniature or paint an army or paint a whatever. Whereas actually people still, I didn't want to like limit myself to that, because I know I know that 2021 is going to be the same as 2020. I'm going to flip flop around all over the place. Whereas actually this means by having a whole bunch of different challenges across different systems and different, types of paint, different scales of how many models and stuff, means that actually, I can jump in and just do like paint or Underworld's Warband, or paint, a unit, or paint a model, or paint a whole army for something. So that's
I mean, so conceptually, like just to give it a bit of context for people, because obviously we're kind of talking about it, but let's just sort of just narrow down what it is, and then we can expand. So obviously, like, we got together and we had a discussion about, because you wanted to do something, so you come to us and you were like, what do you think? What do you want to do? And I know you've very much driven this and done the swanky website, which I'm showing now on the video, so people can see that. That'll be a page on the FaceHammer website, so you can go to that page, and it explains what it is, how you achieve stuff, and how it's done. But basically, the concept is that you can, as a hobbyist, depending on how much time or what you want to do, you can cherry pick the achievements you want to do. And you can say, well, I'll try and achieve these throughout the year, or throughout the month, or throughout this quarter, or in this period of time. So it's not like you say, it's not like rigid paint an army in 2021, because you're like, oh, I don't paint armies, I play Shadespire, whatever. So it was we've got a list of achievements. So basically there's 50 challenges at the moment, but we're not restricted to that. So the idea as well is the community can suggest achievement ideas throughout the year. So like on our Discord, we're going to have a channel where you can post your entries for each one, and you're going to put together a leaderboard, aren't you, Tom, where we can put the badges that people earn. You've got this nice little symbol, so for each thing they earn, they'll get a badge on that leaderboard and get a point total, and then that gives you who's got the most points. So there's an element of looking at other people trying to achieve the same points, but again, it's not like we didn't want to do like paint a model and we judge that to be the best painted model, because that could be demotivating for somebody. So the idea is that, painting a army or a unit or whatever the ones are, so there's like a lot of them. So you've got like paint a new army, paint an army released in 2021, paint something you've already owned to fight the grey, paint an army with more than 13 units. That's very much aimed at me. The paint I can definitely do that one. That's fine. Paint an army from each Grand Alliance combo one. That's cool. So and there's, I think like there's a lot in there that you can read through. Like for the Emperor, paint something from space. So paint a 40k.
Ghost Sports, paint a Blood Bowl team.
And then there's like there's other things like do some freehand or like those kind of things, or paint something from
Non-metallic
Forge
metal.
World, and
Yeah.
So I think like there's a lot of lots of different ones, so you can go through that list and go, I can do this one, I can do that one, I could try and do these two this month, whatever. The idea is that you would submit through FaceHammer Discord in the channel, and then we will basically deem like that's totally what we mean. That's fine. That ticks that off. And Chewy's going to update the leaderboard periodically throughout the year, and the idea is going to run till next December. Now, obviously, we're sort of calling it a challenge or a competition in a way, but so it's because it's a paint battle. So what you could do is that you and your friend could just compete against each other, just how many points you're going to do between you. But what we want to do as well, we want to kind of we will periodically pick things that we think like, oh, okay, this is someone's like really embracing this, and it's not necessarily the quality of the end result or the quantity, it's more like the spirit or what they do. So it's almost like,
it's embracing the spirit of the challenge in the battle. It's like, so like you could paint all 4 Mortarks, and it could be
5,
like 5 Mortarks. Yeah, I try and forget about the stupid one with 1 million models on his base. You could paint all 5 Mortarks, and like somebody could paint them to like a super high standard, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna get it. Whereas somebody that has never done any of that before and really pushes themselves and gets this done and that could be embracing the spirit. So it's not a painting competition. It's more of a sort of like a
participation
spirit of
But I think that's important to to keep you motivated and to help other people stay motivated. Like, you could just come in at the end of the year and submit a bunch of photos of stuff you've done throughout the year and be like, look, I've ticked off all these achievements, go, well done. But that's not really what this whole thing is about. It's very much about like engaging and trying new stuff, and there's plenty of achievements out there which are probably stuff that you haven't necessarily tried before, or things which will push you or challenge you in different ways, and that's sort of the main thing that we're wanting to get people to do, I guess.
So we talk about awards. There's 2 at the moment. There's 2 awards. I mean, these things are subject to change as the year goes on. So we've got 2 things, which is the most challenges done, which is going to be a quantity type thing, and the other one is the RealmHammer Hero, which is the main prize really, which is the person that's really embraced the spirit of what we're trying to do. Then we're also going to have some FaceHammer merch that you'll only be able to get if you are at a certain level of achievement score. Details to be shared later. We haven't really got that what we're going to do yet, because we've got some time.
We want it to be cool. We want it. We want it to be cool. We want it to be something that's like really good, and I think it's. We just want to really think about what if I was coming at this from somebody outside and I wasn't part of FaceHammer, what would sort of like tickle my fancy and make me want to be part of it. So we want it to be cool. We want to be able to sort of like have something that people want to strive for. That's the thing. That's why we've not announced what it is yet, because we haven't really decided on it. But we want it to be like so that's the main thing.
And I'm sure if people have got ideas for what you would like to get at the end of it, then chime in, let us know and stuff as well.
And I think like the whole point is that because you're sharing your hobby, it's to encourage people to share their hobby on the Discord, but then you can also do it on Instagram. We will probably take some of the stuff, and as we record shows throughout the year, we'll probably share that as well, and be like, look at this look at this by so and so, and here's an entry. Because throughout the year we want to basically show off some of the stuff that's cool from the Discord, get people talking, get people inspiring other people to try things out, and also like what will happen, and that'll generate conversations like, how did you paint X, or how did you do that, and I quite like that army list, or so it's the idea is to get people to really engage in the hobby aspect. Because I found that like last year I was almost like, because we don't know what the end point is or when the end point is to this whole situation that everyone's going through and different. I know it's affected people in different ways, but you're in a holding pattern. You're almost waiting, and by waiting, you're doing nothing. And I found that for me, I'm very kind of goal project focused. So I quite like to say, right, like as Led sort of touched on earlier, like there's an event on this day. I'm going to take this army. I need to paint these 3 things. Where am I going to do that around my day-to-day routine? Because I don't have that end point, I'm just not doing anything, really. I'm kind of flitting around and doing it odds and bits, and then getting like hobby butterfly syndrome times 1,000 because I'm terrible for it anyway. And I think it's what's really cool about this is that it gives you like you can do as much or as little as you want, and set your own goals from the group. And if you've got a small like a gaming group or whatever within your gaming group, you can have your own competition with these, and you could even have your own prize like amongst your own gaming club or your own like group of gamers that you normally play with, and it allows you to, you know, just enjoy the hobby aspect of Warhammer and focus your energy.
Yeah, and we're really fortunate that like the thing that we care about and the thing that we're passionate for is something that we can do, you know, while maintaining like the fact that we're safe out there with everything that's going on in the world at the moment. You know, so why not all come together and sort of work towards like use it to support each other. Like, you know, if you're trying a new technique and you think that somebody in the like you know the Discord can help, like just ask questions and we'll come back to you. If you want to take a list, like, and you're like, oh, well, I want to do a death army, but I'm not sure of the list. You know, like ask Russ, because like I could care less about death, but like if you ask Russ, I'm sure he'll tell you, like, you know. But in the same vein, like ask me about Stormcast stuff because I know it inside out. Ask me about like Lumineth. We're here to support and help everyone move forward and stuff with it. And I know for me personally, I'm looking at some of the achievements, and there's a couple that I'm going to try and do because I think it's something that I wouldn't normally do. Like, you know, I'm not going to paint a destruction model. I might do now. I'm not going to paint I'm not going to paint a death model. I might do now. You know, it's like it's interesting. You know, it's, you know, paint the entire contents of a boxed game starter set. Like I could probably do that with Underworlds. You know, maybe. There's lots on there that I think would allow you to scratch that hobby itch whilst doing your own thing. I think, you know, if you like, because we all get army fatigue sometimes. If someone wants to paint, you know, a Lumineth army, they're like, oh, well, actually, I'm a bit sort of like fed up with painting these elves. Maybe I'll stop and then go, right, well, I'll paint an Underworlds faction. And like, you know, we've all seen the new vampire, the vampire lady that has been shown, hasn't she? And she looks sick. So like, maybe it's like, well, that's the complete opposite of what Lumineth is. So maybe I'll paint that Underworlds faction. You know, I just think it's really cool. I think it's a really good opportunity for everyone to come together and have that hobby butterfly syndrome, but also feel like they're achieving something and not beat themselves up if they're like, oh, well, I'm doing this today, I'm doing that today, I'm doing this today. You don't beat yourself up by flitting around like, you know, flip-flopping like Chewy. You then can sort of like guide the flip-flop so you feel like you're achieving stuff as you do it.
Yeah, because I think having and there's large army scale stuff, but then like you've said, you know, there is smaller paint a warband, paint a unit, so that you can say, you know, oh, I've flip-flopped into this for a couple of days or a week or whatever, you know, and I've only done like a couple of models or a few models, but actually maybe it's like, well, I've done 3/4 of this unit excuse me, and then actually by having that achievement it gets you to finish that unit, and then you can share it and talk about it, and it's not you've then got that little kind of sense of achievement rather than I've half started something which I stopped, which is a feeling of kind of like, you know, it feels like you failed at it, but actually you've painted a specific thing for a specific achievement and you got it, and great.
Exactly. And like with the release schedule with GW and the stuff that's like, you know, the Games Workshop release schedule just continues rolling on, right? And we're not playing any sort of like games or tournaments or anything like that. It's like you don't feel bad then about going, well, actually the new shiny is here. Like I can do a little bit of that because I can then feel like I'm not giving up on all of this other stuff that I've started. I can, you know, maybe lean into it and do like pick up some of this like Sigvald when he comes out, like, you know, like pick him up and go like, well, that's a single model. Like I'm sure there's a Chaos single model in there. he says without looking. But it's, you get to scratch that itch of the new shiny and not feel guilty, because I know, like, I feel guilty if I flip flop. If I've spent a load of money on like a project and then I go, well, actually I'm going to do a new project because this project's got a little bit stale, I then feel super guilty that I've spent the money on that project and the time invested to then go to the new thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, it's okay to do that. Like, it's like a palate cleanser.
I think the like the vampire like Underworld's like model, I just love it, absolutely love it. I'm getting a theme for the sort of the Soul Blight stuff that's been shown so far of the vampire with the bats in his hair and the Underworld's one. It's like, I think the theme might be mad hair. I think that might be the theme, because they've both got, one of them's got like massive volume and the other one's got bats in their hair. So I'm like, what else is going to happen?
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's got bats.
Maybe it's because they're worth it, right?
Yeah. I do. I know it's like a tangent, but like, I love that vampire model. The crazy hair, spaghetti hair vampire lady. She looks amazing.
I like both of them. I really do. Like, I'm super excited about vampires.
Yeah, you did put like something quite interesting in the WhatsApp the other day that we won't go into, which
Oh yeah.
You don't remember? Yeah, you can remember that, can't you?
I can remember,
if you're in that WhatsApp, you know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, like, people in that group. But I've put it up on the screen so you can see the pictures. So if you haven't seen it, there is a preview this weekend as well. We're currently recording this in the middle of the week, so we'll be doing something on the preview as well, I imagine. So I mean, we've got some plans for like FaceHammer this year as well, like what we want to do with the content and stuff that we're going to roll out shortly. But that's why we've been a little bit quiet in January, because we've been like working on this, trying to come up with an idea what to do with Chewy, although he's done the lion's share of the work and done the fancy website. So there was some technical behind the scenes stuff of getting access and things, all that boring stuff we had to sort out. So I think it's going to be really good. I'm really excited. I mean, even just looking for it on myself, we're all going to take part as well. We'll be posting our stuff. And the idea is that, come join in with us. If you want advice, on, like, if there's one that's to do non-metallic metal, for example, if you've never done it, you want some advice, then, I know Byron's pretty good at it. You can talk to Les or myself or Chewy about how to do it. I don't know if you've ever done non-metallic, but
I've never done it before.
You have to do it now. You've got a challenge. So But like, I've got a dwarf character back from the old days. The guy who's like leaning on his axe handle. That I did in NMM, which is like, the model's still not actually finished, so I might actually finish him off. Because like, it seems a shame to have a half painted model like that.
So you're not going to do Sigvald in non-metallic metal, or are you just going to leave it alone because after Ninja Aiden Daly painted it at ninja levels of skill, you kind of like almost just look at it and just go like, no.
No, I was tempted with Sinesh, like, because I looked at the models and that, and I've got a Lord of Pain, and I built him, and I was looking at the actual sculpt and cleaning it up, and I was going, there's something about it doesn't. It's almost like some of the areas aren't as defined as I'd like them to be, and I don't know, the overall aesthetic is a little bit, it doesn't really do it for me. Like, the more I looked at it in like detail, I was like, I kind of like some of it, but it doesn't, it's got like a strange feeling. It doesn't, whereas like the new, like, I like the simplicity of the well, if you really see like a model of a vampire, but I like that simplicity of the armor on that, and there's not a lot of detail. I think the problem with the Sinesh stuff, I looked at it and went, there is a lot of detail on these models, and I think I'd rather do something simplistic.
Time investment, right? It's like, as much as like I love the Luminef stuff, I think they almost fall foul to how complex they are as models. And the lady vampire stood on the stone with the spaghetti hair. She looks like like the armor panels just look iconic and like
they've got that kind of batwing shape, and they're flat. They're flat, and they've on the actual paint job, they've obviously painted like an internal trim on that armor.
Yeah.
But what's quite nice about this, and it was something when we were doing Infinity, they changed the way they were sculpting stuff because painters didn't have a big area to do stuff on. And what I quite like is that there's nice flat sweeping areas for you to do blend, because I like to blend. And I find the problem when you've got a lot of detail, it's a bit like I used to paint a lot of Lord of the Rings models back in the day when I used to work at GW, and they were quite smaller scale, so there's not enough surface area to really like get the paint flowing. So, and to be honest, like for me, Slanesh has never been the chaos power that I've gravitated towards. It's always been Zinch and Nurgle are the two that I prefer. So if I love Slanesh, I mean the models are amazing. Don't get me wrong. If it's like Lumineth, if I really liked Lumineth, that wouldn't bother me because it's just who they are, right? But I've never been like, I like high elves back in the day, but I was never a massive elf player. It was something I did as a project, but it's always been death and chaos for me. So it's like, well, why would I'm not gonna like force myself to paint, so because this is the problem I have, is I almost feel like I've got to fill my time up with something like an army, whereas actually what I should really be doing, and what's good about this challenge, is I can fill my time up with doing these little achievements based on stuff I've already owned that moves me towards another goal. So like, it's like I've got a Blackstone Fortress that I've played through with my gaming group that we're halfway through a campaign. So why don't I paint all those models up for the box set challenge, and then when we play again, it's all done, So, and it might be a case of just paint by numbers contrast over Xenophil, but and I've got like a Batman miniatures game, League of Assassins that I won't go into the story, but I've finally got the rest of the actual stuff I wanted.
Don't get angry. Don't get angry. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bash on knight models. I'll leave it at that. But I've got two models to paint for that because for whatever reason they didn't send it to me. But I've got them now eventually. So I gotta be really careful because I'm just gonna rant.
I know. Yeah, just breathe. Take a swig of your drink. Right, move on. Cool.
Yeah. I think that's really exciting. Yeah, there's definitely some like.
Can we have a bat challenge to paint a Batman miniatures game?
Yeah, I mean, I bought the starter box. I've got it set upstairs, not painted. That would be good.
You could have the achievement I'm Batman. Paint Batman.
I did push the Batman miniatures game onto a lot of people because it was really fun and so I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the models or the game.
Okay, right. We're an Age of Sigmar podcast. We'll move on to something Age of Sigmar. Yeah. This isn't Russ Rantcast.
It's my
paint
platform.
5 Mortlogs. Paint something from Middle Earth. Like that's quite cool because I quite like some of the new Middle Earth stuff. That might be interesting.
Yeah, because I think there's a few bits from the Lord of the Rings game that I like as well, but I can't commit to painting a whole force or even learning. I don't even learn like the rules to the games I play. So, but like learning another game, So
it's my dad's like a massive Lord of the Rings fan. So like for me, I look at that and I go, he was the one who gave me the book when I was younger. Over the years, I've always wanted to put together a Fellowship of the Ring and have it like almost like on a you get like bark, like make it as like a scenic
display board.
And put it, and so like maybe this is the thing that finally gets me to get that gift done. Like paint it for me. It'll be nice to just like go through it, have it like on a scenic base with like a Sylvaneth wildwood and stuff like that. So it looks like, and they're just walking up at like something with like the rocks, and I can have it on like a scenic base, and then I can give that to my dad as a gift because he was the one who got me into like high fantasy stuff. When I was younger. So like for me, I look at that and go, well, actually. I tick an achievement. I get to scratch that Lord of the Ring itch that, like, because of rewatching the films recently. Like, I don't think I'm going to invest into playing Lord of the Rings as a game. Like, a lot of my mind is on, is Sigmar focused. Because that's just what I'm into. But instead of me collecting and starting a whole force, I can just paint like the Fellowship and make a really nice scenic base, and then just go and have that as a gift for my dad, which I think might be quite cool. And it means that I get to then tick the box, scratch that itch, move on to the next one.
I used to really like the old box sets back. I don't know if there's. I literally not looked at Middle Earth stuff for years, but I remember back in the day when like there's the films come out. There was the new box game, and there was like you used to better get like they were almost like scenes from the film, like Attack at Weathertop, and it had the fire and the ring race and the guy, and then you had like the one which was the Urukai.
Gimli stood on the. Was it like because I saw the one with like the one where they first see the troll, don't they? And like it's the Gimli stood on the like the stone plinth.
That was from the starter set, I think. But these were like the metal box sets they used to get. So one was like Attack at Weathertop. You got a little campfire, Aragorn holding like a torch because he waves a torch in the thing, and then like the hobbits that were there and the ring race. And then there's another one which was like I can't remember the name of it, but it was like where the Urukai are grabbing Merry and Pippin and they're being chased. And they're holding them, and like I think stuff like that makes a really cool like scenic paint job.
Haven't they just released that again?
I don't know.
Just got it for pre-order because I'm sure Tyler Mengel posted something about it, and I'm sure that's just gone up for pre-order.
I'm gonna live browse the GW website to find out on the stream. So can, I've literally never looked at Middle Earth stuff, so.
I think it was out for pre-order recently. I'm sure Tyler posted something, unless I'm drunk and I've made it up. But
are they?
Is it be on the community site? I think as a new release or something.
It might be something that's not out yet, but
that was
no idea. But
I'm gonna have a look. You guys can talk. I'm gonna have a look.
But I think I used to quite like those like themed sets, which were the kind of a scene from the film, miniatures, and like it would be quite nice to do that on a scenic display. But it's sort of one of those things. It's but it's nice to have like goals to. I think it's nice to clear out stuff from your hobby cabinet as well. Like you just like, I've got all this stuff lying around. It'd be a good idea to actually paint some of it. And things like that. I've got a few ideas for extra achievements now that we're looking at it. But I'll,
I keep thinking of new things as we talk as well. Of things that would be really cool.
Could have like one to paint like the Warhammer World exclusive miniatures or something like that as well.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've got one in
store
mind.
Birthday model as well.
Yeah,
so,
Sorry to all of our friends in America that can't get Warhammer World exclusive models.
But they can get store birthday exclusive or Adepticon exclusive models.
Yeah, that's
stuff
true.
Like that. So any like of those exclusive, the one even like Bugman that was just out the commemorative model. So So I'm sure there'll be some form of GW exclusive character they could have had in the past or got hold of. So.
Yeah.
So I've got a few for sale. No, I'm kidding. But I think...
so it is on. It is on the. They have recently re-released some classics. So it's on the Warhammer community site from the 17th of January. If anyone wants to look, just
cool.
I wasn't drunk.
Interesting.
Sorry to interrupt, Russ.
No, that's cool. But I used to like that. That's that particularly bit in the film as well, in like the Fellowship. I think there was like a Boromir on his knees with arrows sticking out of him, which is
spoiler.
If you don't know,
the arrows that look like snooker cues that are coming out of that
massive. Yeah. But I think it's like it's cool because you can like get a bit in the film that you really like and almost like recreate that in a little diorama type scene, because you're not really bothered about if you're not doing it for a gaming thing, it doesn't really matter, does it? So even if you did like a Saruman stood over a Palantir or something like that, would be pretty cool. With Greener in the background ready to shank him, spoiler.
I think Tony Kirby, is it Tony Kirby, the guy that the commission painter guy just painted a Saruman recently, and that looked really nice. So
I think anyway, there's achievements to do, things to paint. Share it in the Discord. Ask us questions. Suggest achievements that you think should be there. I guess the intention is like, because some of them there's a bit of crossover. We're not like, you're not if you did like an army, like an Iron Jaws army, and you would be able to like use that to score like 10 different achievements. You'd have to like that you'd have to like do something. You say it's for this one, and then do something else for the other one. So you wouldn't be able to like do Iron Jaws with non-metallic metal, with weathering, with 10 units in it, and then score like 15 achievements with one project. So it's the idea is that you try and
self-police yourself.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to completely we're not going to be like, well, that does it. You just have to be a bit sensible. So, like, if you're using an army that you've purchased in 2021, and it's an order army, say, or it's because it's like Paint an Army in 2021, wasn't it?
Released in 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if an order army comes out and it's a new shiny, like, does that count as 2? I think it just depends on, like, you just have to self-police yourself and just be a bit sensible. Like, but what Russ said is, like, you can't do a destruction army with like an upcycle with start part, and you built it with start collecting boxes, and it's got a goal in it, and it's like you have to be a bit like self-police yourself, guys.
So
like,
you've got like you've got combo ones, haven't you? Which is like paint a new army. So you could paint a new army that was in 2021 that was a chaos army with non-metallic metal to score those 4, but you wouldn't then also be able to do like weathering and stuff. Is that what you mean on that?
Yeah, it was more for like, so you've done a smaller scale thing that you want to use in an army. Yeah.
So you can't,
that fits
like,
into a big one.
You can't multi-combo, like you couldn't do like a new army that was released 21 and chaos, but you could do. You've painted a chaos army with non-metallic metal, so that'll score the one underneath it as well.
Yeah. And then if it's like if you've got like the Underworld's warband from. Say you're doing a Slaves to Darkness army, and you're going to paint the new Slaves to Darkness, excuse me, warband that comes out for Underworlds. You can then use that in your like army, because there are people out there who I have a huge amount of respect for, who pick a project and then that's their project for like the whole year, and they will be able to kind of, and they want to try new things in it. They want to try some freehand on that army. They want to try some non-metallics on it. They want to try some bits, and I didn't want to like punish people by punish those people who are very committed. Good at staying committed.
So you can basically like the combo achievement can sit on top of all the cascade down all the little ones underneath it. But you basically can't like cascade combo achievements under a combo achievement, if that makes sense.
No.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's all the rules are on the website. You'll be able to follow that. So we'll put a link in the description for the rules. It'll obviously be on the Discord. Join the Discord. There'll be a channel set up. So you have to go across there and look at that. And there'll be a RealmHammer Paint Battle section.
And we'll announce the start date relatively soon, won't we? I don't think we've decided 100% on the start date yet, have we?
Well, we can start from now. When the video goes live, we've announced it. So it's live now, so you can join it now.
It starts.
So now is the go. So off you go. So
go. You
can feel free if you want to post. Go in there and say I'm going to do these this month, and then to like make a declaration of commitment. That's entirely up to you. You don't have to, but like for me, I'm probably going to post I'm going to try and achieve these this month, and then try and achieve it rather than at the end of the month go, oh, what did I achieve? I can tick these 2 boxes off, because otherwise I don't think I will, because just for me personally, I don't think I will try and do it retrospectively unless I actually say I'm going to do this on this by this day.
I'm the same. Like, unless I literally be like, I'm going to paint an Underworld's warband, and then I paint it. Whereas, because like if I go, I might paint that Underworld's warband for the end of the month, it'll be like, it ain't getting done.
I think, but that's the beauty of this, is you can set your own internal goals that fit around this structure, and you can basically say, well, actually, I'm not gonna. It's a bit like when you play a computer game and there's loads of achievements. You go, I'm going to try and achieve those 3 because I want to do those, but I don't want to do those 4 because that just seems like a waste of time, or I'm not going to be able to do that because I don't have the time to go play Assassin's Creed and collect every little thing around every map because it's really boring. But you might really like that, and then someone else might be like, I'm definitely doing that because that's way more fun than everything else. But whatever. So I think that's the spirit of this is to almost, you set your own goals with a structure, and you have other people that are taking part that can share their stuff, and it's all a big load of hobby goodness.
Yes.
On
that note,
I think that pretty much covers it. So in this show, all we want to do is talk about this event, and just sort of say, we appreciate the collaboration with Realm Rift and all the work Chewy's putting in. So Thank you very much, Chewy, giving us motivation as well. So
No
thank you,
worries.
Chewy. Yeah, it's been really good. And yeah, like, watch this space soon with the announcements of what we're going to be doing with FaceHammer going forward in 2021. If you would like to like and subscribe, same as usual, it really helps us out because it sort of, it encourages us when you've got sort of like those likes and you see that going up. So, share the video if you want to be involved with your mates. You should be able to share it via YouTube and stuff. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, and get involved. Put in the comments below any of the achievements you're particularly really excited about, and hopefully we'll catch you in our Discord. So thanks very much.